we can rule the world together forever.
He's the king of the Koopas, the crusher of plumbers, and the most iconic video game villain of all time. He's King Bowser Koopa. If you're a casual fan of the Mario games, it might be easy to dismiss him as the big, angry turtle who likes kidnapping Princess Peach. But while that's not necessarily wrong, in fact, it's pretty accurate, a deeper dive into the lore of the Mario series reveals that there's more to him than meets the eye, including a big family tree. Hey guys, I'm Brad with Wicked Bench, and this is Bowser's Family Tree, the history of the Koopa King. For this video, we're taking into account every member of the Bowser family, not just by blood, but by relationships like caregivers or adoptive kids. To kick things off, let's talk about Kamek. It could be said that Kamek doesn't technically belong in this video, since he isn't actually related to Bowser by blood. However, he raised Bowser since infancy, and that makes him family. Kamek is a Magikoopa, a type of Bowser minion debuting in Super Mario World for the SNES. In Japan, Kamek remains mostly undifferentiated from other Magikoopas, inasmuch as both he and the Magikoopa race share the same name, Kamiku. But Kamek is clearly his own thing. He has the unique ability to power up bosses to fend off Yoshi and the Mario Brothers, in addition to attacking them with magic, whereas other Magikoopas simply attack them directly with magic. Kamek debuted in Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island, acting as Bowser's caregiver. As for who was the king of the Koopas at this time, that's totally unknown, and since Kamek calls his young master Prince Bowser, we can assume it's not him yet. But since Kamek is the one in charge of raising Bowser from his earliest years, we can assume he had high regard in the eyes of the former monarchs as well. Kamek is perhaps Bowser's most loyal associate, except for Bowser Jr., consistently helping him in all his endeavors and protecting him from harm. Examples include attacking the storks carrying the baby Mario Brothers, even kidnapping Luigi as he foresaw that they would cause trouble for Bowser in the future. Even when it's not urgent, Kamek caters to all of Bowser's whims, like gathering Wonder Wool so he can make a giant castle, or stealing the Sundream Stone so he can wish for a giant robot. As the series goes on, it becomes more and more obvious that Kamek is tired of catering to his wards, but he's a loyal and reliable ally any way you slice it. Next is Baby Bowser. We see the most of Baby Bowser in the Yoshi games, acting as the series' main antagonist. He's always the driving force behind Kamek's schemes, even though the latter is the more visible antagonist of the games. Either Kamek is trying to keep the Koopa Prince from trouble, like in Yoshi's Island, or he's spoiling him with anything he wants, like in Woolly World and Crafted World. The one consistent factor is Baby Bowser's abuse of Kamek. Needless to say, he's the definition of a brat. For as hard as Kamek works to raise, protect, and even entertain Baby Bowser, he's always beaten and berated by him. Even so, as we said earlier, Kamek is loyal, always providing extra power for his liege, turning him into Mega Baby Bowser in most of his expeditions against Yoshi. But don't go thinking the Baby Bows needed Kamek's help to do evil. In Yoshi's story, he acts as a main antagonist of a game Kamek isn't even in, determined to get revenge on the Yoshis of his own volition. In Mario and Luigi Partners in Time, he shows little concern when Kamek is knocked out, more interested in collecting the shards of the Kolbat Star, just for the fun of it, totally ignoring the imminent threat of the Shroob invasion. He even teams up with his future self in a pretty sweet boss fight, showing that Baby Bowser really can't get along with anyone but himself. Alright, let's go from the prince to the king. Bowser is next. One of the most iconic villains ever conceived, Bowser is the archenemy of the Mario Brothers and the Mushroom Kingdom as a whole. If we went over all of Bowser's deeds, we'd be here all day, but just know that his evilness only grew stronger with age. Bowser will go to any lengths to get what he wants, whether that means kidnapping Princess Peach, stealing the Mushroom Kingdom's power stars to invade her castle, stealing the Grand Stars from the Comet Observatory to dominate numerous galaxies, and potentially build his own at the center of the universe, or even planning a lovely wedding. Bowser wants it all. Maybe that bratty, impulsive nature he had as a child never changed. Thankfully, Mario is always around to stop him, making him public enemy number one to Bowser and the entire Koopa Kingdom by extension. His bullying even extends to more petty matters, like ruining the gang's fun in the Mario Party games, crashing their parties and taking away items whenever they land on spaces. While Bowser is a pretty nasty guy, he isn't all bad. Sometimes he can even be friendly with the Mushroom Kingdom. Look, there's gotta be some reason that Mario and company invite him to play sports and race go-karts. He also values his minions, willing to take time away from getting his castle back to rescue them in Mario & Luigi: Bowser's Inside Story. Speaking of that series and Superstar Saga, Bowser's kind of a good guy. He teams up with Mario and Luigi to rescue Peach, and even though he's ultimately manipulated by both Popple and Cackletta, he was at least well-intentioned at first. But we all know what you're really thinking of when we talk about Bowser's good side. That's right, Bowser's brother. What do you mean? You never heard of him? You haven't heard of Bowser's brother? In Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, Mario fights a blue version of Bowser, not to be confused with fake Bowsers, which are regular enemies transformed into clones of Bowser with dark magic. The official guide for the game claimed that this blue Bowser is actually Bowser's younger brother, but man, does the story change every time. He's been called everything throughout different guides and other sources: Bowser's brother, older brother, twin, blue Bowser, a blue fake Bowser, and even a Bowser with no direct correlation with the real Bowser, but just so happens to have the exact same appearance and powers as Bowser, aside from being blue. That being said, in Japan, it's pretty consistent that Bowser's brother is at least, well, Bowser's brother. Even in Super Smash Bros. For 3DS and Wii U, one of the loading screen tips gives the fun fact that one of Bowser's alternate colors is based on his mysterious blue brother. It's a mystery why the two haven't teamed up against Mario. Maybe they had a falling out? These are the questions we need future Mario games to answer. For now, just enjoy the fact that Bowser has a blue, twin, older, younger, fake brother. What a guy. Say whatever you want about Bowser, but he sure loves his son, Bowser Jr. One of my personal favorite Mario characters, Bowser Jr. was introduced in Super Mario Sunshine as Bowser's son. His design makes him easily confused with Baby Bowser, and understandably so, since they look practically identical. Bowser has a lot of faith in his boy. In Mario Sunshine, he does trick Bowser Jr. into believing that Peach is his mother, so he'll kidnap her and fight against Mario. But when he tells him the truth, Bowser Jr. claims that he actually wants to fight Mario again. That he does, as Bowser enlists Jr.'s help in kidnapping Peach quite frequently. In New Super Mario Bros. And New Super Mario Bros. Wii, he actually takes the lead and puts up a pretty darn good fight against Mario. Bowser Jr. is also both creative and spoiled, and this is a dangerous combination, resulting in numerous gadgets like clown cars, Mecha Koopas, and gigantic robots at his disposal. Not to mention that he seems to have authority over the vast majority of Bowser's troops, specifically the Koopalings. And Mario and Luigi Paper Jam, both Bowser and Paper Bowser, are absolutely furious when they find out that Mario and Luigi have beaten their respective sons. We aren't the only ones who felt really bad there, are we? Bowser Jr. wants nothing more than to make his dad proud, and it's obvious that Bowser is already proud of him, with how willing he is to enlist his help in his diabolical schemes. In Super Mario 3D World, Bowser's Fury, Jr. teams up with Mario to help rescue Bowser from the black goop that turned him into a more evil than usual monster. If that's not enough to sell you on their connection, look at how they interact in the Nintendo Switch parental controls trailer. Bowser may be a tyrant looking to rule the world, but he's also a dad who wants to connect with his son through his interest, without letting them be a bad influence on him. But who could forget Bowser's wife Claudette? Okay, you can actually forget about her. She doesn't actually exist. But Nintendo of Europe jokingly suggested that Bowser has a wife named Claudette.
Buzz, your girlfriend. Woof.
Shigeru Miyamoto, creator of the Mario series, debunks this by saying Bowser is neither married nor divorced. But you gotta wonder, where did Bowser Jr. come from? Believe it or not, there's actually an answer. Our next entry is Bowser Jr.'s mother, Shigeru Miyamoto. You may not remember this, but back in 2015, there was a video called Mario Myths with Mr. Miyamoto. In this video, one of the questions asked was whether he knew who Bowser Jr.'s mother was. He assured the audience that he did, then proudly pointing to himself. Since Bowser is confirmed by Miyamoto to have never been married or divorced, this leads to one of two explanations. The first is that Miyamoto is Bowser Jr.'s mother, in the sense that he created Bowser Jr. and delivered him to Bowser. The other is that Bowser and Miyamoto had a one-night stand, leading to Bowser Jr. being born, an act which neither has felt like talking about much since. Either way, Miyamoto has never once debunked the statement, which comes from himself, that he is Bowser Jr.'s mother. So, he belongs in the family tree. Now we have the Koopalings. You know, we're gonna miss how easy Junior's story was to talk about. He's Bowser's child, and that's it. The Koopalings are a little more complicated. While the Koopalings were originally described as Bowser's 7 children upon their debut in Super Mario Bros. 3, with the eldest, Ludwig von Koopa, being called his second in command, a 2012 interview with Miyamoto in Game Informer magazine affirmed that the current story of the Koopalings is that they aren't Bowser's biological children. This is, at face value, a very odd retcon, and it's often thought to be an assertion that Bowser Jr. replaces them as his only children. However, there's a simple solution. In a Japanese Nintendo Direct trailer for Mario Kart 8 in 2014, which revealed them as playable characters, they're described as Bowser's Koban, a term referring to proteges, literally meaning child status. With all this being considered, the most likely explanation is that Bowser Jr. is Bowser's only biological son, and the Koopalings are his adopted children. But one thing we don't have to question is that these guys are some of Bowser's most trusted underlings, leading the Koopa troops under Bowser and Bowser Jr. Now we have Larry Koopa, the very first Koopaling fought in the series. Larry's implied to be the leader of the Koopa Troop Special Forces, according to his trophy description in Smash Bros. 4. This is interesting, since Larry is also the youngest of the Koopalings, and as we claimed earlier, Ludwig was originally described as Bowser's second in command. We'll talk more about it when we get to him, but the solution here is that this seems to be a mistranslation. While his 3DS trophy description describes him as the Koopaling's leader with aggressive tendencies, the Wii U trophy describes him as the youngest Koopaling with the little brother complex. Since there really isn't anything in the actual games indicative that Larry is the leader of the Koopalings, we'll assume that the mistranslation theory is true, but give us your thoughts in the comments. The Mario and Luigi series portray him as short-tempered and mischievous, and to engage him in battle, the bros have to play a game of tennis with a fireball, ticking him off by hitting him with it. In the Mario cartoons, he went by the name Cheatsy, referring to said mischievous nature, and the willingness to win by dishonest means. Another fun name-related fact about Larry is the interesting change of his name's supposed origin. Great Britain's official Nintendo magazine claimed in 2010 that Larry was named after talk show host Larry King, a claim which was later debunked by Dave Brooks, the man who named the Koopalings during Mario 3's development. He asserted that Larry was named after rock drummer Larry Mullen Jr. of U2. This is consistent with the theme of the other Koopalings all being named after real-world people. But later, Brooks admitted in 2015 that Larry was the exception to the theme. He was named Larry because, wait for it, he just looked like a Larry. Next is Morton Koopa Jr. This big guy is the second boss of Super Mario Bros. 3, and wait a minute, Junior? That can't be right. Not if Bowser Jr. is Bowser's only biological son. Thankfully, we aren't the only ones who wonder about this. In a 2000 interview with Nintendo Power magazine, a reader submitted a question about whether Morton Jr. was Bowser's biological son, and by extension, was Bowser's real name Morton? The answer was simply that Bowser's family was in a fight, and when asked, Bowser claimed he had no son, throwing bomb-bombs at the people who asked until they left. This must have been a sore subject for the big guy. Just a theory, but since we've established that the Koopalings are Bowser's adopted children, maybe Bowser was upset about not having a biological son. This interview did come out 2 years before Bowser Jr.'s debut after all. Or maybe this was after he broke up with Miyamoto. Perhaps he's also the mother of the Koopalings and calls them adopted to save face. In short, no, Morton isn't Bowser's biological son. What he is, however, is a brash, aggressive Koopaling who usually speaks in caveman-esque dialect. Despite this, he's not exactly stupid. The Super Mario Bros. 3 manual implies that Morton is able to see what weaknesses Mario has and report them to Bowser. He also cautions other Koopalings from rushing into battle with the Mario Brothers and Mario and Luigi Paper Jam, reminding them that they had just defeated 4 of the 7 Koopalings in one fight. While he's still definitely more brawn than brains, he's pretty brainy when it comes to brawn. Basically, he's got good senses when it comes to battle. He's named after talk show host Morton Downey Jr. for some reason, making him the only Koopaling, aside from Larry, who's not named after a musician. In the cartoons, he went by Big Mouth for more obvious reasons. No offense, big guy. Next is Wendy O. Koopa, the only female member of the Koopalings. Wendy is named after Wendy O. Williams of the band The Plasmatics. She's the spoiled brat among the spoiled brats, being mainly characterized by her lust for wealth and high regard with others. She's bossy and has a short fuse, blowing up easily, and isn't above taunting her fellow Koopalings Koopalings on a regular basis. The cartoon series renamed her Cutie Pie and really re-emphasized the spoiled side of her personality, with her even believing herself to be Bowser's favorite of the Koopalings. Iggy Koopa is next, named after the American rock star Iggy Pop. He's one of the more excitable Koopalings, often greeting Mario by spanking himself. Don't think too hard about that. Iggy was initially known for being the brainiac of the Koopalings, with Bowser even calling him the Brainy One in the Nintendo Adventure books. He's since been known for being hyperactive, creative, and a little unhinged, but he is alongside Morton as one of the Koopalings who's the most protective of Bowser Jr., so he's definitely got that going for him. Roy is the fifth of the Koopalings, and we really underestimated how much there was to say about these guys, huh? His namesake is American rock and roll singer Roy Orbison, and his personality can basically be summed up in one word: bully, which is ironically his name in the cartoons. We especially see this in Bowser Jr.'s journey, where he's shown to constantly belittle others and bully the lower-ranking Koopa troops. He's another brawn over brains Koopaling like Morton, but with the added perk of being a little bit sharper and honestly a lot meaner with his constant berating of his fellow Koopalings. But to his credit, he does have really cool sunglasses. Now we have Lemmy. Of all the Koopalings, Lemmy is the most lighthearted. His namesake is the late Lemmy Kilmister, with Dave Brooks explaining it being chosen due to his nature of doing what he wants when he wants. He's portrayed as a fun-loving, childlike little dude who just likes to play around with his bouncy ball. Okay, seriously, are we sure he's not the youngest? While he's as loyal to Bowser as the other Koopalings, he's much less concerned with causing chaos than he's just messing with people and pranking them. The Nintendo Power Strategy Guide for Mario 3 says that he'd rather join the circus than help Bowser in his conquest. Oh, and fun fact, in the cartoons, Lemmy's called Hip Koopa, being a twin of Iggy, who's called Hop. Man, they really did not like these guys' names. Now it's time for Ludwig von Koopa. As we said earlier, there isn't really an official leader of the Koopalings, but given that Ludwig is the oldest of the Koopalings and was once considered Bowser's second in command, according to the aforementioned Nintendo Power Strategy Guide, he's the closest thing the Koopalings have to one. Ludwig seems to know this, and boy does he run with it. He's intelligent, musically inclined, and even named after the renowned German composer Ludwig van Beethoven. This results in Ludwig having an ego, insisting that he's the real leader of the Koopalings. In Paper Jam, the other Koopalings debunk this, asserting that they work as equals and that nobody voted for Ludwig. As cynical and arrogant as he is, Ludwig is capable, having great respect from the Koopa troops and have a pretty respectful attitude towards defeat, as seen in Paper Mario Color Splash, in which he actually chooses to fight Mario of his own accord, not just to please Bowser. Now we have Koopa Kid? How many versions of little Bowser are there anyway? And worse still, this guy's the most confusing one yet. Exclusive to the Mario Party series, Koopa Kid's Japanese name directly translates to Master Bowser's Kid. He calls Bowser Dad in Mario Party 4, and other lines of dialogue suggest they have a sort of parental bond, like Bowser threatening to ground him by taking away his Mario action figure. Wait, why would you let him have that? Anyway, Koopa Kid's habit of sometimes referring to Bowser as Mr. Bowser makes things even more confusing. Maybe Koopa Kid is also adopted, and that's his own endearing way of calling his father figure, like Darwin calling Richard Mr. Dad in Gumball. In any case, Koopa Kid hasn't been seen since 2005. Exceedingly little is known about him, but maybe one day he'll reunite with his estranged father. Who knows? We're not sure how everyone will feel about us including Paper Bowser, Kamek, Koopalings, and Jr. in our Koopa family tree, but we'll just hope it doesn't fall flat. Okay, sorry. We'll cut that out now. Okay, but say what you will about Mario and Luigi Paper Jam, I personally like it, but it revealed a rather interesting piece of lore, being that the Paper Mario versions of the beloved characters actually exist in an alternate universe contained within a mysterious storybook in Peach's castle. There's not much to say about them, honestly. They exist. They're practically identical in personality to their real-world counterparts, and when teamed up, they cause more than their fair share of chaos. So, if there's not much to say, why bring them up at all? Now we got Kammy Koopa, acting as Paper Bowser's lieutenant in the first two Paper Mario games. Kammy is an elderly female Magic Koopa. There's nothing to suggest that Kammy raised Bowser like Kamek did in the real world. All we know is that she's one of his most trusted allies. She's also extremely mistreated and insulted by Bowser, even compared to his usual abuse of Kamek. Nonetheless, like Kamek, she's loyal to Bowser, and since the Star Spirits on the original Paper Mario made an appearance in Mario Party 5, we can assume that Kammy is also probably out there somewhere. That said, Paper Kamek seems to have taken the role of Bowser's right-hand man ever sinst Sticker Star, so we have to wonder where she is. And finally, we have Dry Bowser. We're just giving him a quick mention since he's just the undead Skeletor version of Bowser. He first appears upon being defeated by Mario in New Super Mario Bros., subsequently being revived by Bowser Jr. by being put in a cauldron. We can tell through this that Bowser's bones are immune to lava, and that Bowser Jr. is able to revive him from the dead when needed. That's kinda terrifying. One last fun fact, in Mario Party Island Tour, Bowser refers to Dry Bowser as a close family friend. More than likely a mistranslation, but who knows. Maybe Bowser's brother lost his skin and never regained it. You really gotta wonder.